Hey guys, my name is McCarty Maxwell. I'm a launch team member for Ecclesia. I'm here with our lead pastor, Ian. We're going to talk a little bit about his sermon this past Sunday and just go over some pressing questions that some of you guys might have towards the sermon. And then he might have some other questions for you guys to think about as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining me, Ian.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you talked about this Sunday finding joy and contentment in the Lord. Can you just talk about what that looks like practically for us?
Yeah. So you think about like joy is something, and if you're like me, it's something that I want so badly. And I know as a Christ follower that I'm supposed to be joyful. What I find is like the harder I try at that, it just lasts for a short amount of time, and then I kind of revert back to old patterns. And so we need things in our life that are pushing us towards joy. And so I think a real question that we can all consider is what in your life is leading you to contentment? Like what is driving you towards not having to push, not having to drive towards something more, something greater, that next loading Instagram again and looking again around at the world, or I don't know, ordering off of Uber Eats, or whatever it is that like our culture says more and more and more. And what in your life is driving you towards contentment? And I think the one thing that we all need, the one thing that we all need to embrace is silence. We need to be able to sit and just hear from the Lord and contemplate who He is. And so if you can start your morning each day with just 5 or 10 minutes of silence, maybe just acknowledge that God is here, and then finish that time with the Lord's Prayer, something as simple as your will be done, your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven, like something as powerful as that really may change your perspective on life. What for you, McCarty? What's been driving joy in this season of your life? Where have you been noticing that, or have you?
Yeah, so I'm actually new to the area. I've been here for about a year and a half, and truthfully, the first community that I came in contact with was here at Ecclesia. As a part of the launch team, there's a number of young people as a part of our church, and I really sought a community that was looking to build something in this community and looking to seek the Lord. And I found that here. When I first moved here and I didn't have that community, I felt like I was missing something. That contentment that you talk about, I didn't have it. And I struggled a lot with that. But I found that finding a place where I thrive and where I'm finding people that I can socialize with, that I can serve the Lord alongside, that was really, really beneficial for me. And it's just brought like an overall sense of joy and happiness for me that I can take with me every day, which is sort of a good segue into my next question. What happens when we don't find that joy, or we don't find that contentment? What does the Bible say about that? Are we doing something wrong in our lives if we aren't finding that?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest lies that we face, that we feel, is when we see a gap between how we think we're supposed to be and how things are and how we feel internally. And joy is one of those consistent ones. I mean, I heard the phrase the other day that we live in a culture of ambient anxiety, that people are kind of always on edge and always like dealing with severe mental health issues or just baseline mental health issues. And so joy is sort of held out as something that maybe it's for the future, maybe it's for other people, but it never feels like it comes for us. And I know I feel this profoundly in my own life. I want desperately to be a joyful person, as I said, but sometimes I don't feel that way. And so what does it mean in the interim, in the meantime, to strive towards joy? And one of the things I take so much comfort in is that Jesus himself experienced the range of emotions, the range of feelings that we are walking through. And so even when we're in moments of despair or loneliness, Jesus himself has been in that place. Jesus' best friends scattered and went away from him at his greatest moment of need. And so we walk with a God who not only says, I'm going to give you power to live this kind of life, but he's saying, I've already lived that life. I've walked through that before, and I will never leave you or forsake you. And so even in those moments where we feel the gap between maybe the way we wish that it was and the way that it actually is, we find that Jesus is right in the middle of that, saying, I am here and I am near. And again, it comes back to contemplation, it comes back to silence and allowing Jesus to speak into our lives. And I think what you said was so powerful. We also need a community of people that are telling us the truth, that are just able to be with us and to share a meal with us, or that we're able to serve alongside. I think that's so powerful. What have you seen? What you said the community has been a big part of that. Has there been anything else that has kind of changed that tide for you?
Yeah, so I think, and in learning this from the community that we have here at Ecclesia and the Christian community in this area in general, something I continually remind myself is, like you said, Jesus was a human, that he experienced the full range of emotions. He came down here to be human, to live among us. And as somebody that overcame the world, as Jesus did, he still wept. He still was angry. He still had times where he felt lonely, that he was discontent with his surroundings. So I think it's important for us to realize that it's natural, it's human to be like that. And if we weren't feeling those things, we wouldn't be human. And that's part of us growing and maturing, especially in our faith. And so I think we have to seek those people around us. We have to seek people in our lives that are constantly fulfilling us, that want to be near us. And that's where I've wanted to seek that more and find that in my church community. And I feel like that's something that we're building here, and that I'm happy to be a part of. So also another good segue, our next meeting will be on March 3rd. We're going to be at the Princeton Garden Theater. Ian will be there. I'll be here. And Ian will be bringing another message, and hopefully we can see you guys there. And then afterwards we'll be talking about kind of similar things that we did today. This is something that we are going to look forward to.
Yeah, and I just want to encourage you guys, joy may be one of those like things that seems so far off from where you are right now. But it is a promise that we're given. And so as we embrace the rhythms of community, as we embrace the rhythms of seeing Jesus for who he is, he will transform your lives. And so he's doing that in my life. He's done it in the past, and he's doing it anew. And I'm grateful for that. But I just want to hold that out, because I think that's such a powerful promise that we have in front of us. So thank you guys for listening. Thanks, McCarty, for being here. And we hope to see you on March 3rd at the Princeton Garden Theater.